is November the 25th, baby boys, baby girls, ladies and gents. It's Friday. Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another So-So production. Daddy's back. Papa's back in the building, doing it with the crew. Shout out to the gang, whether you're in Toronto, whether you're anywhere in the GTA, West Coast, BC, anywhere in between, South, talking in the US, below that, Mexico, below that, South America, East, I'm talking Europe, Africa, Asia, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, as always, Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, Malaysia, wherever you are, on the islands, on a little, you're maybe, you're out there in the North or South Pole, whichever, and you're just, floating on a little iceberg. Shout out to you, beautiful fishermen and women out there doing it. Boys and girls, we're gonna have some fun. If you're part of the crew, if you've been with me for some time, you know what it is. You can find these videos Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays on YouTube, Instagram, and on patreon.com/RobSadri. If you'd like to fiscally support the show and see it grow little by little, we're doing it every week, baby. And yeah, we just have fun. If you're just joining me today, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, help yourself, and talk about it amongst your family, friends, and colleagues, co-workers, strangers that you meet. It's the hottest, newest, size doesn't matter when it comes to shows, baby. It's how you show it. And it's a So-So production, and we do the show right here, baby, together, you and I. Just have some fun, essentially, and build bonds through different mediums until we get to do other things as well. It's getting chilly willy outside here in the city, I'll tell you. And boys and girls, ladies and gents, let's address a few certain things that are currently going down with your boy right now so that we're all on the same page. I have hurt my back a little bit. I don't know from what, but I've hurt my back. In a bit of pain. Daddy's in a bit of pain right now, not gonna lie to you. And it's been consistent for the past week. Started off on Monday, I don't know what I did, but I pulled my back, not from the sex. Not the sex. You'd hope so, right? You'd hope so, you'd wish so, right? But no. I don't know what happened, but I pulled it and I've managed to, I put in a little bit of my stretchy poo in the morning time, do my little exercises. It got better until like Wednesday evening, Thursday it started like flare up again, and then this morning I just got up, and right as soon as I got out of bed I just did a little twisty poo, and it is, man, I'm in pain right now, not gonna lie, fam. So bear with me, we're gonna have some fun. I've taken 2 pills and it's not been helping at all whatsoever. So now we're just gonna roll with it and see that's what it is. But you pick up an injury, you just keep going. Unless you're like a professional athlete, then you mitigate with a little bit of hot bath, a sauna, dip you in the old ice bucket bath situation. I don't know, cold plunge, hot plunge, room temp plunge, stretching, deep tissue massages, getting yourself a back rub, getting a Swedish back rub. Perhaps maybe you could get Miss Tanya Herbert with her large feet to give you a nice deep tissue massage and paired good, dude, because it's like the best of the best. It's the biggest out there. Shout out to Tanya doing it. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun. And as per usual, I sat down every day. I try to write as much as I can, and today is no different. I write a little bit, I think about it, and then we come here, try to have fun with it, see where it goes. But I did manage to write a lot, and as per usual, if anything that doesn't get covered today, we might cover it the next day. We might skip it over and just cover it down the line some other time, because I do sometimes come up with ideas. I'm like, this will be appropriate for such and such occasion. So you know what it is. We just have fun around here, and we just get silly, and we just shoot the shit for about 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half sometimes, and you're on your merry way. Getting tongue-tied a little bit. Happens to the best of us. That's all right. Roll with it. We're gonna have fun. First and foremost, ladies and gents, I was thinking, I need to, because I'm here to try to provide a service of all. And you're like, what is it that you do? What is it exactly what is it that I don't do? Is the question that you should be asking yourself. And I'm out there trying to find solutions for potential problems. And I look around the populace and I see amongst the citizens, half the population happens to be female. Maybe you are one, maybe you know one, maybe you're related to one, maybe you came from one, you most definitely came from one. Maybe you have one that's your mother. Maybe you have one that's your sister. Maybe you have a wife. Maybe you have a daughter. Maybe you have an aunt. Maybe you have a grandma. Although this is probably not going to be applicable to grandmas unless she's gone ahead and skipped, again, the ironically named menopause. But maybe she's still getting that monthly flow. Essentially, I'm like noticing, I'm like, oh, what is going on around the world? Half the population, about once a month, they'll get a period. Where it's just like, oh, oozing blood. It's like Blood City, you know? And it happens to the best of us. Best of you gals out there. And I was just thinking, I'm like, well, yeah, we've definitely got, you know, we came a long way. We definitely didn't start off the way we are now, but things can always improve. You know, I think we went from like nothing, you know, you just bled back in the day, you just bled for like a week, 3 days to a week, depending on you and your physiology, of course. And that's what it was. And little by little, we're like, man, we should like help these ladies. And the ladies were probably thinking ahead, of course, because it's impacting them immediately. They're like, we should probably think of something eventually, you know, down the line. I'm assuming, you know, it started probably with like, you know, just strap on a, you know, grab a little bush, grab a little shrub and just like, you know, put it there for absorption. Hundreds of thousands of years of evolution and human innovation. And now we've got tampons and Tampexes. But I'm like, you know, how do I make this situation better for the ladies? How do I, and also make a buck? Let's not kid ourselves, you know what I'm saying? So Shark Tank, if you're listening, or Dragon's Breath, this is for you. And also any other, you know, initial investors that want to come in and hop on the wagon with your boy to get on down with the business. Make some money, make some moolah, but also help the environment and the ladies. Here's what I'm thinking, fam. This is what I did. And often I do this whenever I want to start a venture. I do tons of research. Many a years I go just spending off the grid, on the grid, accumulating as much research and info and intel as I possibly can, spending time with indigenous tribes of the jungles deep in the depths of the Amazon perhaps, or maybe other parts of the world that have a lot of greenery. And yeah, so that's what I do. And I go on trips and I talk to medicine men. I talk to medicine women, some with licenses, others questionable. But nonetheless, I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to learning. And yeah, I spend a lot of money. I spend millions and millions of dollars, not my own, of course, but it's, you know, it's what it is. The funding's there. And I spend it. I spend it all till the last penny, not a penny left. You're like, why won't you use it a little bit more carefully? But it's, you know, it's just, you know, when you got it, you use it. And also I spend so much time, you know, this is, I guess you could say, where this is a labor of love. This is a labor of passion. It comes off the backs of many hardworking men and women. I happen to, you know, call me the collaborator. That's what I do. Other people work the hard, you know, that's what it is. You know, everybody does different things, but I'm there observing and learning and, you know, grasping, and then coming here and then like disseminating the information that I gathered over thousands of years, millions of hours, and hundreds of trillions of dollars spent. So what did I come up with after all this extensive research? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring to your attention the newly improved mason jar for collecting period juice. What's up, ladies? Hear me out on this one. Okay, tired of tampons and Tampexes, worrying about, oh, do I gotta get the slim wing? Do I gotta get the medium-sized wing? Do I gotta get extra large wings? You know, how do I fit this to my particular vag? That's so 2022, ladies. I say, this is what I'm saying. After all the years spent, again, research, millions, trillions of dollars spent, lives sacrificed, families ruined, lots of people underpaid. I did it all. I shook hands with many a people, politicians. I bought and sold politicians. They're in my pocket. I put them in your pocket. Look in your pocket. You got a politician in your pocket. I put them there. You put them there. I'm not taking credit for that. You put them there. So that's what I did, man. Shady business. But nonetheless, the results are fantastic. Mason jars for collecting period juice. What you do, what I've done, is I get these mason jars, and again, this is all accumulated through interacting with, just being a fly on the wall, really, an anthropologist, some may call me. I don't like to credit myself in any of that sense, but you know, whatever. It's just, I don't like labels. What I'm trying to say is that you take this mason jar, beautiful mason jar, you wrap a little rope around its neck, its little cup neck, if you will, and then you take that rope and you wrap it around your waist. loosely, of course. You don't want it to be tight where it's sitting around your hip. You want it to be just dangling between your knees. So you got it, to imagine a rope, a shoelace, or whatever. We provide you with the mason jar. How you'd like to, because some people, it depends. We could have gone and provided you with the rope or the string, but that's like, everybody's different. Some people are like allergic to nylon. Some people are like, oh, I like my rope to be a little bit, I like the feel of a shoelace. I like a silky little robe around my waist. I like a little, whatever it is that you like. I like wool under my, I like wool to skin contact. I like it itchy is what you're saying to me. And I'm not there to, limit myself and you guys, gals out there as well. So what I do is I provide the mason jars, and you guys can, strap it around with a little, the idea is mine essentially, okay? That's what I've done. I accumulated a lot of knowledge, and that's where it is. My back. Point is, fam, that you hang this between your legs, and all of a sudden, what are you doing? Every time it's that time of the month, you wear a skirt, you just let that cup dangle between your legs, and what happens? The mason jar collects the period juice. Boom. Next thing you know, you're not worried about, oh, did I put a tampon in there? Am I wearing Tampax? I don't know which is which really. Did I insert one? Did I, because there are versions of this, if I'm not mistaken, where the cup is inserted into the vag. That it's so 2022 or less. But what I'm trying to tell you, ladies, the present is the future. The future is that this is a present for you, and just so happens that I get to make a ton of money off this thing. So I'm just putting it out there. It's a brand new product that we're working on, and we need some, it's more of a supply and demand, getting it out there to the good folks. And I'm patenting it right here, right now. So don't you go out there thinking, oh, I can just take any regular mason jar and wrap a string around it and hang it between my legs. You could, but that is unethical business, sir, madam. And yeah, I want everybody to be on this. It's gonna be, and it's great too, because it's not just beneficial like for the ladies. It's first of all it's more fashionable, you could say. It's more fashionable. What's more fashionable than a mason jar filled, 3/4 with period juice and blood clots, essentially? Who doesn't want to see that? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, the real people being real people. That's enough of the, you don't need to be like, oh, I gotta like make sure I'm concealing this. You will be if you're wearing a skirt or something, you know what I mean? And you're concealing it. And yeah, you easily dispose, and the beauty of it is it's like recyclable. What do you do when it's filled up, when it's almost filled up? Dump it out. You could literally like dump it out anywhere. Like, forget the days of like finding a place to dispose of your sanitary pads or what have you. This is, again, 2022, 2023, we're filling it up and we're chucking it, baby. Chuck it, fill it up and chuck it. That's gonna be the slogan. Fill it up and chuck it. And yeah, together I think we can definitely grow this scalable as fuck. Literally 4 billion ladies out there, and there's going to be more in the coming year. Actually, there will be more at one point, but at one point too, there will definitely be less. The population is going to go on a decline, so we're going to have to milk this fast. All right, so I'll leave it up to you guys. Whoever wants to come in, you want to, whatever. I'm not here to like. I say we all win. This is a big enough pie for everybody to have a piece. So I'm not there to like mess around too much with the numbers. This is just like, it makes sense, and I feel just good providing this for the people. That's what I want to say. Yeah, and it's great for the environment too, which is a whole thing these days. You want to be like, everybody, no matter, like, everybody wants to be a little bit more environmentally conscious. Forget transferring over from straws that are made of plastic into stupid paper straws that melt halfway through your drink, and you're out there looking dumb, just dumb, struggling with a bendy straw, making a fool out of yourself in front of your family. Gosh, the embarrassment. Save us all, man. Just drink from the cup. But I like my straw. I do too. That's what I'm saying. You stupid turtles. If they were a little bit smarter and stop choking on stupid straws. But they're not smart like us, dumb turtles, they're cute. They're probably smart in their own way, but I'm just saying, this is not gonna, this is next level. We're taking it to a new frontier with this. I believe this is they say humanity changed with a lot of things, the invention of the wheel, the invention of bread. You're like, no, sliced bread. No, bread. The invention of bread. It's never been about sliced bread, fam. That's like being happy about the car having a honk on it. The car is satisfactory in and of itself. You don't need the honk to be like, oh my god, I'm so happy the honk has been invented. Sliced bread, it could have been invented or not. Bread is the essential meat and potatoes in that equation. So this is pretty much like, yeah, man. Wheel, fantastic, great. Bread, yes. Some say the printing press. Some say the combustible engines. Some say steamboats. Some say the printing press. Did I say that already? If not, it's worth mentioning twice. It's done magic. The automobile, computers, the internet, and this is right there, right after it. Social media, and then this. Fucking like, it's right there. So get on the investment early. I say go all in. And I'm not a financial advisor, but when I see an opportunity, I say go all in. So that's there for the public to take advantage of. You're welcome, everybody, especially the ladies, and also fellas too, because everybody comes from a lady and everybody knows a lady. You're related to one, you're married to one, you got one. Not in sense of like ownership, like you got one. You know what I mean? You got family members, relatives. This isn't about like, it's what it is. Just giving back. That's one of my beautiful inventions that I thought about. And you're like, this is fantastic. Have you got any more? Do I ever? I'm glad you asked. Tired of walking into parties and finding a little assortment of food, and maybe on a little, maybe it's on a table, a little here, a little like, you got shrimp cocktail, you got a little whatevs. But okay, this is what I'm getting at, fam. Tired of having to, grab chips and dip it in the guacamole dip. And are you always concerned about double dipping? Are you concerned about the chip breaking? Are you concerned about not getting enough dip on your chip? Fixed it. The future is here, fam. We're gonna reverse it. Ladies. And from now on, every party, patenting it right here again. Shark Tank, if you're listening, think about this. I want people to start carrying around their own guac and dip, and you dip the dip in the chip. So you're not dipping the chip in the dip, you're chipping the dip. You're chipping the dip. You're not dipping the chip, you're chipping the dip. Okay, so this is basically chippable dip. Essentially, everybody walks around in the party with you. Just grab, you go into the, you got the bowl for the fruit punch, and that's hopefully spiked by a member of the party with a good little bit of alcohol. For it's the holidays. Eggnog could be a little bit stronger. You know what I mean? I'm not even a big fan, but I'm just saying a little bit of that. Like, oh, what is that? It's rum. It's tasty. Drink up. Not too much, but also it's the holidays, so hell yeah. And it's also Thanksgiving, by the way, everybody, in America, which is pretty much like worldwide. So happy gobble gobble day, y'all. But that's what I'm saying, fam. You walk in there, instead of being like lame and taking a stupid chip and going all like, oh no, like attempt to grab a little bit of, and you never get the right quantity of dip on your chip, do you? Forget about it. You could literally, again, handful of guac dip or whatever. All like, this is just like revolutionizing the whole dipping and chipping game. Essentially, instead of like, it's just basically reversing it. Very simple. Instead of going in with a chip, you go in with a dip, and you'll always have more dip. That's the thing. You take one bite, you grab the chip in your mouth, and you're like, that wasn't enough dip. No more double dipping, fam. It's right there. You just right there with the tongue action, right there, extra, and then you dip again. You chip again. Sorry, it takes me some time to get used to it as well. I know this is gonna take some time to like really be impactful and come in there with, but that's what it is. This is revolutionizing all parties. I'm talking birthday parties. I'm talking just regular social gatherings. I'm talking, a little work rendezvous for I don't know what reason. We just spent nearly 9 hours together there, but if you must insist, I'll bring the dip. You bring the chip, and that's what it is, baby. It's chippable dips. Think about that. And again, you can just like walk around, like not even worry about it. Just like Because having a chip in your hand, it looks god awful. It looks awkward. Nobody can really pull it off. But handful of guac, all of a sudden it's just like a little bit of it is like dripping, and they're looking at you in the party. They're like, who is this fella or lady, all decked out in a nice dress or a nice tux or just a laid back little chill outfit for the evening, afternoon, whatevs, and it's got a little bit of that guac dripping, and he doesn't care. But like that's what it is, man. It's your hands, and you can like think about that party. Just it's lit now, and you're like, and you can be if you're if you're really tight knit with your group of friends, family members, you can like. Because you can't just like offer a chip if you have like one chip. But one chip is barely enough for anybody, barely enough for one person. But if you got a handful of dip, you could legit be like, it's a conversation starter. It's a bond strengthener, essentially. You're like, oh, I always wanted to, my wife insists on us having dinners with her boss and her husband. And me and the husband, like our wives work together, but we're not so close. Guess what, fam? Offer a little bit of guac in your hand to your wife's boss's husband. Sam is his name. All right, and next thing you know, you guys are, oh man, hands are twisting, guac in face. Fucking everybody's getting a raise now. Revolutionizing parties. Taking human interactions to new levels. Thank you very much, ladies and gents, boys and girls. My back is legit killing me. I hope it stops by next week. But I will not be phased. I will not stop. Even if I have to do it. If like whatevs, if I get like if I'm in a full body cast, I will be, oh my god. Oh, a podcast and a like if you're casted out, you know what I mean? If everything's like I'm in a cast, like not in a gang of people that you're like, oh, we're making content. That could be dope too, but I'm just like saying full body cast and then podcast. It's good to double down sometimes and be like, oh, a lot of casts. I don't even know what I'm saying there, dude. But nonetheless, we are moving forward. A lot of exciting things are happening, boys and girls, ladies and gents. One of the most, oh my god. Okay. I just saw one of the most beautiful, I got hard when I saw it. I'm talking about, you know what it is. Right now, it's the World Cup is going on. Your boy is a full-grown man in terms of age and, relative daily responsibilities or something. Adult. Officially adulted hard, going knee deep into adulthood. And so I don't have time to sit around and like watch 90-minute games, especially all the games. So what I'll do is like if I really like to be like, oh, I wonder how these teams do, I'll like catch the highlights or a few minutes of the highlights just to see the goals and what's up. And I look for beautiful magic essentially on the pitch. And yesterday I got to see, oh man, it's Brazil versus Serbia, and Richarlison, if I'm not mistaken. This beautiful fella's name, Richarlison. He scored and this is pretty like, I don't know if we've got this in soccer competitions or not, but we should have a category collectively as a species as the dirtiest goals to be ever scored. And Richarlison has now probably become the top contender in the World Cup series right now for probably the dirtiest goal ever right now. It's good luck topping that. That is fantastic. Oh my goodness. Because this is the level that I relate to this goal. I grew up loving soccer, played soccer. I dreamt about soccer. That was one of my, early life dreams. It was like, oh, soccer, like between a few ages, like, from like maybe from the time that I could like start walking and running, probably around 5, 6, probably started walking a little bit earlier, but you know what I mean, like really like walking, taking steps, playing around with like soccer balls and what have you. From probably like 4, 5, 6 till early teens, infatuated with soccer, in love with soccer, just passionate about it. I thought it was the coolest shit. I still really do think it's one of the coolest sports out there. And yeah, one of the things that really got my attention were like the skills that people had, the dribbling, the trickery, the magic, and not so much some like for me it wasn't like, and that's the thing. I knew very early on, as much as like I was all right, I was okay, but I knew it wasn't going to be my path. I knew there were people who were way more dedicated, who loved it way more, who wanted to do it 24/7, all day, every day, and that's what it takes to be successful in anything. But there are certain things in soccer that I used to do, which just it. If you had to say what is an orgasmic afternoon or an orgasmic instance in soccer, I think it doesn't happen too often, but it is when a goal is scored and it is scored in a spectacular fashion that no one expects. So this happens often with free kicks. Free kicks are sometimes orgasmic when it's just like behind the 18-yard line and it's taken and it's got a bend, or it's like ricocheting right off the top or one of the sidebars, or just like brushes by the tip of the goaltender's fingers, and it goes into the back of the net. Those are all amazing. Sometimes a beautiful header. Those are all beautiful. But doing a bicycle kick, doing a backflip essentially, is one of the most beautiful instances of sports that it's basically the equivalent to a knockout in MMA or boxing for me. It's equivalent to a buzzer shot at the last minute making you win the game. That's how I equate it to. It's beautiful, it's magic, and it's one of those moments where everything stops. When you're doing a bicycle kick, you're defying laws of gravity. You're defying laws of physics. You are essentially creating a nice little beautiful glitch in the matrix of reality, because humans on a regular basis, this is not a move that you're supposed to be doing on a regular basis. You know what I mean? You don't just you don't walk around the streets and do a bicycle kick with the intent of gaining anything or doing something with it. But in the soccer game, oh man, sometimes it happens. And here's the thing, there are levels to it as well. This is why I love this one in particular, because sometimes the bicycle kick happens, but it's not as hard, it's not as intense, it's not as direct, it's not as guided, and it's still cool. It's still really dope. Any bicycle kick's really cool, especially if it goes in the back of the net. You did a bicycle kick. It is pretty fucking dope. It is fucking top 5, top 10 of the dopest shit in human experiences. Of oh man, especially on top levels when it's high stakes competition. And in soccer and footy, it doesn't get any bigger than the World Cup, and of course there's many leagues out there from different nations which are producing top players at all times. But in terms of the biggest competition is the World Cup. That's where you get to see everybody. It's really cool. I like it in terms of just sports. Everything else aside, I don't care. Today we're just talking about how beautiful the sport is and what it does for people. It brings people together. It's fucking cardio city all day, every day, and everybody can play it. Ladies, men, everybody. You know what I mean? Young, old, doesn't matter which level. It's a beautiful game. But once you see that, and it's just, if you've not seen Richarlison's bicycle kick, I urge you, just take a couple of seconds to watch this beautiful piece of magic, because it just, everything falls into place perfectly. It's one of those things that's not supposed to happen, but it happens, and you're that is dirty. That is one of the dirtiest goals thus far. Potentially has, I don't want to, it's too early in the competition, but that's what it is, fam. Good luck topping that in terms of how beautiful it looks, how direct it was, how much power it had, and the fact that I think there was a defender in his way too. So if you see the slow-mo, the ball is just whizzing by this defender's head, and it's just it's like fucking laser work, but with humans. You son of a bitch, good for you. I'm so happy for you, dude. That is an amazing fucking goal, and shout out for Richarlison and Brazil, always repping hard with the soccer games and the soccer players. You guys are awesome. Everybody else out there too. The game is a beautiful thing. I don't care about of course I do, but for today's sake, I'm just appreciating. That's what I watched it for. That's why I play. That's why and that's what I dreamt of as a young man. I'm if I get to do a bicycle kick and score in a game. Never happened. Not that I recall anyway, and never to that. No, I don't think I've ever. No, never have I attempted it many a times. I throw up the ball and like flip on my back and fall on my back and hurt myself, as many young men and women do, trying to mimic their favorite players growing up. And I had a whole bunch of players that I was like, oh my god, these guys are awesome, and you all are. And yeah, so thank you for that. Hella exciting. Again, I don't have time because of all the responsibilities of a fully grown adult, which is to sit around and think of fart jokes and dick jokes for you guys and gals out there, which occupies a lot of my time, which is I'm happy about and I love it. So that's where my heart is at. That's what I'm passionate about. And man, it's just nice to see people at their fucking killing it. That was incredible. Thank you very much. That was, yeah, shout out to everybody out there doing it. What else is going on, boys and girls? So many of things. Shout out to all my dill do's and dill don'ts out there. Oh yeah. Oh, that felt good. A little bit of the stretch. Oh, even a little bit of a stretch is just, it hurts, but it's nice. I'm hoping again by Monday we should be back up and running properly. What else is going on lately that I've not been paying too much attention to it because I think I checked it out, and it's not the earliest stages, but we've had episodes definitely where we've discussed a little bit of, I guess, crypto and what have you. And I've never been a proponent in terms of pushing it or promoting any of it because frankly I don't know anything about it. I've tried to do a little bit of light, learning, if you will, by listening to different people talk about it. Just trying to really learn and see what it is. A lot of it seemed to me from the get-go, seemed a little bit sketch. Yeah, but again, I don't know. But recently I have heard that it's been dipping or something. I think one major, the FTX or something's crashed. Bitcoin's going down little by little or a lot by a lot. I don't even know. Up and down, basically. It's essentially because that's what it is. So I don't really, I'm not a financial advisor by any stretch of the imagination and not an advisor really on anything. So please take everything that I say here with a whole bag load of fucking salt and peppers, dudes and ladies out there. But so if you've invested in it, if you've made money, fucking congrats. If you've invested in it and you've lost money, that is part of the game that you are playing out there. It's no different than anything else. And yeah, I don't know if it has a future. I don't know if it doesn't. But I was just mainly trying to think of jokes about the whole crypto and again, not being fully aware of what it really. I am a fan of technology. I'll tell you guys that. I don't like the fact that I don't want it to ever lead to any sort of, and we already are kind of like little by little either flirting with these ideas or treading on these paths of, some sort of I don't like it to be centralized, whatever it is, and have it become some sort of a facilitator of a social credit score where everything's online, your money's online, and we all know how that can become very dystopian very quick. But yeah, so and again, I've heard many people talk about it, and every time they talk about it, it just seems like they're the only one that seems like they know what they're talking about. Even that is kind of like half the time. A lot of it seems like, again, this is just my interpretation of it. You guys make your own decisions. Of course, think for yourselves. That's the biggest thing that we can all do. Think for ourselves. A lot of times I felt like it's a lot of like snake oil salesman pitches. It smells a little bit iffy. Feels a little bit like it's being pushed by con artists. People who are into pyramid schemes, people who are into fast, quick bucks. That's what it feels like. Are there applications that may be used later on in the future or further developed? Maybe. I'm not the guy I don't know. Maybe not. Because yeah, the world is constantly evolving. We're constantly making better things, newer things, and I don't know. It's in its, I would say, infancy. Are there benefits to it? Maybe. Again, anything can be beneficial. It's just how do we want to use it. My issues with crypto or like money in a general sense is that it's a very, the monetary system is very one-sided. It very much is programmed to favor the rich or the uber rich, the ultra rich, and it's not really beneficial for the average people of the world. That's my perspective on money. It's flawed. It's not perfect, but we do need some sort of, I guess, frame of. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess you do need something to have when you want to trade stuff for, whatever. You want this thing, give me a little bit of money for it. Like those beautiful mason jars that can collect period juice. Think about that. Lots of money there. So yeah, I don't have the answers. But it seemed like we're taking something that's kind of got a lot of issues, a lot of problems, and just like even removing what is left, what little tangible thing of money is left, whether it's in paper form or at least a little plastic card that you hold in your hand and you fill it up with money. Even that's being shrinked to a non-existent, non-tangible, non-physical form of currency, which we just assign value to out of really thin air. And that's my basic understanding of it. So again, I'm not going to tell you to go invest in anything, and I'm not going to tell you to not invest in anything, because I really don't know. Because there's definitely you do hear stories, but it's rarities and it's anomalies. But this is I guess after saying all this about it, the way I wanted to attack it in terms of a funny way or a comedic way, I thought about it. I'm like, okay, again, I don't care whether it's quote unquote good or bad, or whether it's actually got application or utility. What I just thought about it is like, I think, let me just try to hold on, let me get my crypto is what the G-spot was probably, I'm assuming, back in the maybe late 70s, early 80s, maybe 90s. Follow me on this. It's very similar, but it might not be. In the future, it might not be. So like right now, it feels like this is being optimistic. If it turns out to be in the future beneficial for the masses somehow, to aid the large gaping gap that is currently between the, I guess, social classes, if you want to go down that path. I'm not into classes, but there is definitely a wealth disparity, but that's being optimistic. Anywho, getting along with this thought, it's kind of like the G-spot, because in the early stages of the G-spot back in the 80s, 70s, I don't even know when it was found or really talked about, but back in the day, I'm assuming it started off very similar like crypto did. You'd have like one guy or one lady, or like a small group of people, a handful of people who might have heard about the G-spot, and these people are like, yeah, if you do these particular set of moves, if you just apply a little bit of the pressure or the ovaries or the bladder or something, and you work on fingers just like that, boy, or like just like that, and that she's going like that on her clit, dude, and you're going like pushing down, going like this, and she's going like that, and all of a sudden after a few minutes you might get lucky and it's fucking like, it's wet water works. You know what I'm talking about? We're going wild water rafting over here. That's what it is. And everybody's like, initially, again, you had a handful of people who mastered the old pressure on top, the little two fingers, and then the whole, we're all having a ball up in this bitch. Right there. And it's just like, she's right there, dude. You know what I'm talking about, dude. Let me just I don't want to be not clear, dude. You know what I'm talking about? So, fucking, hold on. I just don't want to be like not clear about what I'm getting to. You know what I'm talking about? So, very much like this, right? You're on top. I'm the lady now. All right, give it to me, daddy. Lady, and you get in there, start with one finger. Two fingers probably works best, you know, unless you got like giant fingers or something. I don't know, dude, but like two finger, and like you're in there, and also like other hand pushing down on the bladder, abdomen, a little gentle. You don't have to be fucking rough about it there. Just take it easy there, okay? Take it easy. You're not digging for oil or anything unless she asks you. Harder, daddy, harder, baby. And you're fucking going to town. And then she may like slip a little hand in there and just fucking tap, 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 tap. And then fucking, you get the picture. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page and that there are no misconceptions. So that was probably discovered, you know, some time ago. Maybe it was discovered way back. I don't know. I'm just going to go with 70s, 80s, 90s. But initially, handful of people knew about this little mechanism, and they're like talking to our friends, and occasions might have occurred when, you know, somebody was like, you know, a group of 5 gentlemen were maybe sitting in a bar, you know, and just knocking back brewskis and cold ones one after another. And, you know, one fella has just discovered the old G-spot, and he had to put it to work the night before, and it was magical. And he's at the bar now clinking drinks with his best buds and telling him about it. You know, I'm talking about going around, yeah, dude, I was in there fucking elbow deep and just hitting it, and she had a blast, I had a blast, and everybody's jaws like drop into the, you know, table level. Some even have dropped probably below that, even further below, like I'm talking maybe ground level. And, you know, that's when you kindly hope for a waitress or waiter to walk by and lift it back up so you're not like drooling all over the place. But that's aside the point. Some people were like, oh my God, how does it work? But you did have initial naysayers as well who were like, no way, man, that's an old wives' tale. That's no different than the leprechaun or the Loch Ness monster, or you know, a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, or the legend of Chuck Norris. These are all old wives' tales, and they're just folklore legends, really. It doesn't happen, and you know, but some were still eager to hear about it because they're like, maybe it's not 100% true, but like maybe it's a little bit true, or maybe something's in there, so do tell us more. But there were some naysayers, and the like, you know, and I'm just like going in there, we're like, no way, bro, because like they've like, you know, it's just not in their realm of possibilities. And then you know, you'd hear one guy from like, you know, you got the group of friends who are intermingling together. This one guy's trying to like share a story, some supporters, some naysayers, and all of a sudden you got this lonely fella by the jukebox, just walking by the jukebox. Maybe he's got like a little, you know, little toothpick between, yeah, this fella's got a toothpick in between his teeth, and he's picking his teeth with it too, and he's twirling over a little nickel or dime, or no, better yet, quarter between his fingers like an old pirate. But he's also got a cowboy hat. That's right, fella's a cowboy. And he gently lifts his cowboy hat up, and he's like, why don't you go on there and let the man speak there now, and you might learn a little something there. He might say something along those lines. And all of a sudden everybody's attention's like, you know, zooming in on this fella. All right, go on, Jim, tell us more. And Jim's like now into it. He's like, so yeah, you just put the fingers in, apply a little bit of pressure. She's going like this, and it's fucking Waterworks City, baby. And little by little, again, so basically this is what happened. Initially, you have the new technology that is out there, and that's the thing. People learn it. Very, you know, small groups of people can benefit from this. First, it might have just been like one guy on the internet back in the day that's like, if you do this thing, she can, you know, like, you know what it is? And everybody else was like trying it. A lot of people were not even getting it. But that's the thing. A lot of people probably not going to get this either. Talking crypto, and myself included. So right now, I feel very much like the fella who's just heard of the G-spot. I feel like it's just, or like, I'm all right with it. I'm okay with it. Like, that's what we're not talking about sex right here. We're talking especially about crypto and monetary assets and diversifying your portfolio and all that shit that adults have to do. Oh man, rock and roll as adults, right? So that's what it is, fam. Right now, I feel like the dude that's just like heard of in the recent years, and all I hear is like this one or two or three dudes who talk about it and are like, this is the future, this is the future. And part of me is like, a lot of, a lot of things do stem from just ideas and technology and innovation, but I have no idea what you guys are talking about. And yeah, so I don't condone anything, but that's what I equate it to. And that is, again, looking at it optimistically, because like the G-spot obviously was solidified. We found out that it fucking works, and it is a thing. It just takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of concentration, a little bit of communication. Every badge is different, every finger is different. Work on your relationships, essentially, is what I'm trying to tell you. And that's what it is. But if it doesn't work out in the end, in like 5 to 10 years, if we find out the whole thing has been a pyramid scheme, then it's definitely not like the G-spot, which would make this entire joke redundant. But right now I can kind of play around with it because we don't know. Down the line we'll find out. Right now it's like, is it not the G-spot or is it the G-spot? A lot of people, very small portion of the population, are like, dude, this is the fucking G-spot of monies, doggy. You just set it and forget it and come back in 10 years and you're a fucking Scrooge McDuck's son, sitting in gold coins and buying islands and pigeons and all sorts of cutlery and getting lizards and tigers and alligators to roam around in a castle that you built on top of a boat that's on top of a helicopter. And you also have a moat at all times around you. Wherever you've got a non-stationary moat, which is fucking dope. Think about that. Basically, you have a moving stage where it's large enough that it feels like a place of residence, somewhere where you can actually, like, wind down a little bit and relax, but also it happens to move. I don't know how. You got the money, you make it work, fam, and then there's a little moat around it, and you're just like feeding ducks to the alligators because you just made like 10 trillion. You're this, like, you might be like 16 years old right now and you've invested God knows how much, and in like 10 years you might own the world. I don't know. Or you might go completely bankrupt. That could work too. So I have no idea. But again, a little bit related to the G-spot. That's what I feel about it. And that's where I feel like that the approach was, equated somewhat to a G-spot. I hope the demonstration was clear enough. If you guys want me to show, you guys want me to show you again? Because I don't think you saw what just happened. Let's just for review again. Fam, super easy. And I wish navigating the crypto market or just overall general monetary market, I wish it was as easy as the old human female G-spot. Sure, we weren't that good at it in the beginning, but all it took was a little bit of, where am I applying the old pressure? Could a little pillow under her back help a little bit? It definitely could. So again, apply the press, one finger, two finger, press on top, fucking, and then she's going to town like that. Like she's strumming guitar chords, dude. If she's played Guitar Hero or just regular bass or even a banjo, she knows what to do. Don't you, ladies? Of course you do. That's what I'm talking about. This is like, that's what it is. That's what we do around here. Shout out to my dill do's and dill don'ts out there doing it big. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, I love you all. I'm sure there's plenty more that I've written down, but that's what it is. We'll leave some of it for next time. Always leaving wanting more. Always, you want more? I can give you more. But not today. You're gonna have to come back here again on Monday, and next Wednesday, and next Friday, and that's where you can find them on YouTube. Subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. Help yourself out there. Follow me on Instagram. Again, help yourself out. Patreon.com/RobSadri. And yes, I have gotten my YouTube handle after some time now. We're snowballing now, dude. It is fucking youtube.com/@gladyamadeit. All one word. Okay, so if you do that, you can subscribe, get the full-length videos, and I'll be back here again on Monday, baby. Rock and roll. Have a great time. Peace out, everybody. Love y'all.